Hello, Miss Raylene. How are you doing?
Hello, Lisa. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and we have a very interesting and very timely topic today. Hopefully, my boy Eric is there. I love you, Eric.
He is here. He says, I love you, Mama. Hello. He's
Oh,
very energetic today. He's blowing kisses to everybody. He's
oh,
saying hello to all the viewers, and
oh,
he's got images of kisses going out to everybody. Very visual
oh,
today and energetic.
so sweet. Well, that's pretty common. So, Raylene and Eric, what special topic are we going to discuss today?
So today we're talking about Jupiter opposition. And what this means is it's Jupiter being very close to the Earth, the closest that it can get to the Earth. And the last time this happened was about 60 years ago. And so this is a very rare phenomenon that takes place. Now, depending on what planet this is happening with, it brings about different things. But Jupiter is a very it's a very good planet and very giving planet. Um, Eric is using a different word, but I can't pronounce it. Benevolent.
Oh, benevolent.
Benevolent. Thank
Benevolent.
you. Yes.
Yes, that's kind of hard to say. Benevolent. Very
He's
benevolent.
laughing at me.
Good.
And so thank you. He says, thank you, Mama, for your help. I'm thanking him for thanking you.
What I do.
Yes. It's a very giving planet. It's a very nice planet. Jupiter is all about expansion. It's all about luck. It's all about fortune, success, generosity. It also has to do with like big thinking. So people may find themselves really thinking big, planning big plans, having kind of like very ambitious ideas and very ambitious, wanting to go and do things. People may find themselves planning on going back to school. They may find themselves planning on broadening their family. Adopting children is really big right now because it is something that is very ambitious. And so starting with that kind of process is going to be things that you see right now. Now, it's also Jupiter opposition is taking place with a new moon in Libra. And so you're going to want to look at Libra as well, to look at the aspects of Libra and what that brings to the table for you. Not only for you, but for everybody as a collective. Now,
Okay,
granted,
is mostly for Librans?
no,
Okay.
not only Libras, but it's happening during a Libra time.
Oh,
And so we're going to look at Libra and we're going to see what that's bringing to the table for everybody. And Libra is all about balance. They're all about justice. They're all about balancing areas of your life, Librian, harmony, bringing equilibrium to all areas of your life. And so Libra doesn't just focus on one area. Libra focuses on everything, the whole big picture. And so you're going to find that you're going to have a lot of luck when it comes to balancing, because Jupiter is the planet of luck. Jupiter is very big at thinking. Also, this is really big on, it's a matter of choice. And so depending on the choices that you're making, you're going to have, what's the right wording for this? To say, like, if you're making a good choice, like being to work on time every day, chances are you may get a promotion because your action is positive. But say you're making a bad choice, like calling into work and you're not going to work, you're going to have a consequence instead of a good action. So it's all about choices that are implementing.
Justice. That's the justice part piece
that
of it.
is. So kind of what you're putting in is what you're going to get out of it. And so it's that type of energy, but it's very good energy. Say if you do end up losing a job, you're going to find something that's going to be more suited for you, because likely there's a reason why you're calling into work. And so it's going to bring about an opportunity for you to have growth in another area of your life. So you may look at it as a disaster or something bad, but ultimately it's going to lead to something positive. Now, the way astrology works, for everybody, you have your own birth chart. This specific transit is taking place in a different house for everybody. But as a collective, what I just went over is something that everybody's going to be able to take a look at. Now, in terms of you, this is taking place in your second house. I looked at your astrology chart before coming on. This is taking place in your second house, that's Jupiter. And then the new moon is taking place in your 8th house. And so the second house governs like feeling of your self-worth, it's talent, it's hereditary, social privileges, cultures, items, possessions, and money. It governs all of that. Okay. And so you may, and things that you value. This could even be like valuing your feelings, your emotions, whatever you value. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, but the house looks at.
Never has been that.
Yeah,
no. I have a roof over my head and can feed my family. I'm good.
And that's that's what you're valuing. The healthiness is what it sounds like of your family.
Yeah, happy.
And
yes,
healthy and happy. And that's Jupiter. Yeah. Jupiter also is all about good health. And so talking about like good health, if you're somebody who's struggling with health, you're likely going to be able to find something that brings about better health for you. Or if you're struggling, with not being able to manage a certain health situation, you're going to be able to find something that comes about to give you that extra boost of good health. So back to the second house with you. And so those, for you, it's going to impact your second house and your 8th house, which is like the value of things, security, your self-worth, and your talent. So whatever you find as a talent, I would say that you're really talented with communication, speaking about things, education, educating people about things as well. So you may find that you're doing more of videos. You may be finding that you're entertaining more people, but entertaining in the form of educating people.
Yeah, I love doing that. That's true.
Yeah. And you're really good at it. You may find that you do like some type of seminar, whether this is online or in person, or some form of higher education, because those are things that you are naturally doing and that you're naturally good at.
Okay.
Now, looking over at the 8th house governs power. It could govern death, rebirth, regeneration. It governs sexual activity, shared assets, and finances, legacies, wills, things like that. So you may find that if anybody's recently passed away, that there's things that are coming back from that person's transition that need kind of loose ends tied up.
That's true. With my father-in-law, we went to take care to Norway because, we went to his funeral a couple of months ago, but then recently we had to go and we were supposed to go through his personal effects, but one of the siblings was super sick, so we couldn't do that. So I guess my husband's going to have to do that later. But
that's really interesting. I'm sorry that you've got that going on. A death is not easy to go through, regardless of the situation. So my condolences go to you and your family.
Thank you.
Yeah, but the fact that you guys weren't able to do it, it's because we have 6 planets retrograde right now, and that is not common to have 6 planets retrograde.
Really? So retrograde. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, retrograde is kind of where you're at a pause, or where you're having to go back and re-look at things. You may not be able to have success in what you're looking at because of all of the stagnant energy that we have. The 6 planets that are retrograde right now, we have Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And everybody knows Mercury retrograde is just a little chaotic energy, but
it's an opportunity for change, good
it
change,
is.
right?
It is. Change usually isn't good it's not easy. It's good. Change is good, but it's not easy. And
Yes.
so a lot of people can find themselves really irritable, really anxious, depressed. And that energy will stick around for about another 2 weeks. But after this, you're going to start to feel like a relief, some form of relief that comes over you. Obstacles are going to start to move out of the way. And so you see how I looked at the houses that are affecting you, which was your 8th and your 2nd.
Yeah.
That's how each individual can see what's really going to be happening for them pertaining to their specific chart. But in general, we are looking at a very good transit. You look at the opposition of Jupiter, it's very close to the Earth. So anything that you can see that is positive, it's good for you. It's gonna be a wonderful experience. Like, think of nature when you're outside looking at a big tree and you're super close to it. You are grounding, you're having a positive experience. You may not everybody is connected to nature in that way, but there is going to be a benefit to every individual for being out there and being connected to that big energy. And so whatever you like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a tree. I was just using that as an example, but whatever you like that is positive to you, imagine that being in front of you and the benefit that you get from it. That's going to be how Jupiter is affecting everybody right now, the benefit of it being there. Now,
but particularly with nature or with
with anything, with anything in general. Like, people may like cars. Think of that big car being in front of you and what that brings to you. That's going to be what Jupiter is bringing to everybody.
I'm wondering, because all of a sudden my husband wants to buy me a car. I've got a 2014 Jeep, and I don't want another one, and so, but he's like went to the dealership to look at another Jeep and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that must be affecting his energy.
Absolutely, because you see how he's thinking bigger now. You're happy with what you have, but he wants something better.
Right.
Because Jupiter is always about expansion. Sure, there's nothing wrong with what you have, but in the man of a male, bigger cars, better cars.
I know. Well, I mean, my youngest lease is ending, and we could just give her my car, I guess. So anyway, that's part of the Jupiter thing too.
And so you see how there's opportunity that's coming from that. The opportunity is going to be your child, which is also another thing. Children, it's really big for children to be having opportunities based off of their parents or based off of their parental figure in their life. And so whatever opportunities you have, your children are also going to gain from it.
Okay.
Kids are going to be having an easier time in school. If they're in school right now, they're going to notice that things start to get easier for them. In about 2 weeks from now, that's really going to start to take place. Maybe adjusting with waking up in the morning has been hard for people, whether this is an elementary student, a college student, a high school student. The next 2 weeks, things are going to start to get easier for the kids. And so that's also because of Jupiter. Jupiter is also about family and decision making, big decisions, typically, not something that's small. And so you may have decisions that come up with education where you decide to go a different route or change a teacher. Things of that nature may come up, and that may be what prompts the easier learning process for the child or for the person. So there's a lot to look at, and the most important thing to really think about is it's a matter of choice. What are your choices looking like? What are your actions looking like? Go back to the whole job scenario. Am I calling into work a lot, or am I arriving to work every day? And look at the benefits and the what's the other word that we would use for this? Consequences.
Oh yeah, right.
The benefits are the consequences of your actions. Are there benefits or are there consequences? Because in that case, that's what you're going to be receiving. And so look at all areas of your life. What choices am I making?
So this is the time to really reflect internally, listen to your heart and say, what do I value? what choices do I have in front of me that I'm either avoiding, or, you know, is there an opportunity to review those choices and make a choice? Things like that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with all of these planets retrograde, it is very much about pause, reflection, and review.
Mm.
And then here comes that change. Change comes into place with all of that, because if you're taking a moment to pause, reflect, review, you're going to have an action step that comes into place to promote change. And so change, as I was saying, it's not always easy to bring on, but once you have that little action step to bring change, it's going to be such a positive renewal of energy for everybody that does do that.
Yeah.
And that's why we have so many planets retrograde right now, because you're being forced into really rethinking. You're going to notice that situations just are not working out for you. And if it's a pattern, then it's time to really stop and look at that pattern, look at what it is that you can do to change that.
Yeah.
And so as I had talked about earlier, there's going to be big thoughts going around, like maybe taking going back to college. Maybe you're 40 years old, maybe you're 50 years old, and you're tired of this dead end job that you're in.
Yeah.
So it's time to learn a new trade or learn something different. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 2-year college, a 4-year college. It could be something short term, but take that action step to learn something new. That way positivity can come about.
Right.
And so it's a good transit. There's really nothing to fear about it.
What about changing relationships, for example? Is that a good time to decide whether you want to stick with a relationship or start a new relationship?
Absolutely. And more so because this is happening in Libra, and the ruling planet of Libra is Venus. And Venus is all about relationships, love. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic relationships. This could be the relationship between a coworker, your children, a friend. And so if the relationship isn't working out the way that it used to, it could be time to reevaluate it, let it go. But this is also going to be an opportunity for a new relationship to come in, like a new job, a new coworker. And also family members, you can't just let them go, right? Like your child, your siblings, you are going to have opportunity. I mean, you can if you want to, but you're going to have Erik is saying, well, it's possible. You're going to have opportunity to look at that relationship and rebuild it, restructure it. Maybe it's somebody who you haven't been talking to, but that person's going to start to come back around again, and you're going to see that you are able to communicate in a different way and kind of rebuild that relationship, fix it. And so it's a great time for healing family troubles, for healing relationship troubles. It doesn't always mean that you're ending it, but you may take up counseling, like a family counseling, or you may finally decide to let go of an issue that you caused and apologize for it. Or, you know, there's going to be some form of healing that's taking place during this time. It's really good for healing. And for a lot of people, that may be like a big topic to them of, oh, should I talk to my mom again after so many years of us not talking, and she did this to me and it was so horrible, or I did that to her and I don't know how to apologize for it. And so that's heavy, big, heavy energy, right? And so Jupiter is very large. It thinks big and it expands anything and everything. And so it's going to expand something to bring positivity out to you. And so again, it's all about choices. What choices are you making? What actions are going to start to take place? And so stop and really evaluate your life, and just every area of your life. This energy is not specific to a certain area. It's every area. Where do you feel stuck? How can you make yourself unstuck? Where can you make changes? The other thing is toxicity. A lot of people are going to realize that something is toxic, whether this is a relationship, food, fast food. And, you know, you're going to realize that you cannot eat out anymore. You have to start eating vegetables. You have to start eating natural, because there's a lot of toxicity in what you're consuming. And so, and it may not even be the body that we're consuming. This can be like people who do planting, are you planting with natural products? Are you planting with something that's really harsh for the earth?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so you may find that you change a fertilizer,
Okay.
and that you're starting to really be more gentle with the earth if you weren't knowing that you were really being toxic with it, just to get a faster grow, you know? And so there's going to be changes like that that are also being implemented for everybody.
It sounds like a period of opportunity, big opportunity.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like hair products, there may be things that come out about hair products being really toxic for people, and where the line has to change, or where
Yeah.
you're using makeup and you decide to change the makeup because of what's in it.
Well,
And
it goes
so
down into so many details.
there's a lot. That's why there's so many things of so many parts of your life that could be affected by it, that you're really unaware of it. And so when you think of toxicity, it's not necessarily just relationships, food. There's a big line of it.
Yeah.
And there's a big change that's coming too, because Jupiter is so big. And the fact that it's so close to the earth, it amplifies that energy. It just brings manifestation into, yes, it brings manifestation into 100 times more powerful than what it usually would be.
So this is the time that you need to start manifesting. You need to be aware of your thoughts either way, good or bad. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Magnified. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. You know, like writing for people, even if you don't enjoy writing, if you just get a piece of paper and start writing down what it is that you want, where do you want to be next year? Where do you want to be in a month? Like a goal plan. Don't think about how you're going to reach those goals. Just think about where you want to be. And once you start writing it down on paper, then the how starts to come into place.
Yeah.
But start thinking about where you want to be, what you want to be, how you want something to look, how you want a person to react to you, what kind of people you want around you. And then that stuff is going to start to come to you, because once you realize what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want, then the how starts to implement. Once you are no longer stagnant about, I don't even know where I want to work, I don't know where I want to live. Yeah. Get things put into place, and then the hows start to come in.
Get your ducks in a row. Now,
that's right.
The geopolitical aspect of this? I mean, we've been, as a society, as a collective, through some hard stuff, Erik. And, you know, a lot of people are struggling with inflation and gas prices and all that stuff. And just the conflict all over the world. What kind of effect will this have on all of that geopolitically?
Well, we're going to have a very large effect on it. When you look at the economy and what's going on with the economy, just because of the gas prices, we have consequences that we're not in charge of as citizens. Thank you. Okay. He says we're looking at what we have to do that we're not in charge of. You have certain actions that are taking place that are not your action, they're the action of somebody else. And he says the leaders that are in charge are going to have the consequences that are going to have to take place. Okay. And so they will be forced into bringing lower prices back, because we're now looking at people that can no longer pay for food. People are needing food assistance, housing assistance, because of so many things that have gone up. And so those are the consequences that leadership is having to look at. Well, now look at the bigger problem that we have. Now we're needing to assist so many people because of our action. Yeah. And so he says they're being forced to bring back things to a reasonable price where people can sustain their own life. Right. And so he says those are the types of consequences that leaderships are having to look at. And he says, Mom, I'm really glad you brought this up, because there's actions of other people that you are having a consequence of. And he's not saying you specifically, but individuals.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And those actions we have no control over, like price increases. He says that's something that you can't control. And so in everybody's life, you're going to see that there is an action that you are not in control of, but you are having a consequence based off of somebody's action. Yeah. And he says, give it time and just wait for it to play out, because the person that's causing that consequence is going to have a larger consequence to play. To
like being voted out of office or being forced?
Yes.
make a change. Okay, in there. Okay.
Both.
Yeah.
He says, Mom, that's a whole nother topic in itself. He's
Oh,
throwing
I
his hat off and
know.
everything.
I
He's
know.
like,
Yeah.
out the door.
It's complicated. Okay.
It's so funny. But he says, yes, he says, talking about government, he says there's going to be government changes that are being forced. And they may not like what they're having to do, but they're going to have to do it if they want to see people stop rallying, if they want to stop seeing all the violence that they're seeing, there's going to be forced change.
So that we may see a positive effect on the big crime wave, the open border, because we have to support all those millions by and large with money we don't have, and things like that.
Yeah, we're going to start to see the changes of that now, and it may not be a new border wall that's taking place, but it may be more security that's around there.
Yeah,
and that's not. Erik says he's talking about the borders, and he says you have to look at the other countries that are around borders right now. He says, Mom, people are trying to get out of a bad situation because their government is not being very
of course,
benevolent. Thank you. And he says,
you got it, girl.
Thank you. He says, those people are having actions that they're no longer in control of. And so they're trying to get away from what's not healthy. And so he says, you have to look at, scenarios like that. The world is in a shitty place right now. Everybody is having consequences that are taking place that they're not in control of because of somebody else's actions.
Right.
And so
little oligarchy in all the countries, really.
He says
creating so much damage, harm.
Absolutely. He says it's not necessarily everybody that's trying to come to peace. They're trying to come to peace, not necessarily cause friction for a person or for a country. He says there's a bigger picture that they're also looking at. What you want to be able to control more is going to be drug relation. How people are bringing drugs to the earth, the death toll of people that is dying right now because of certain drugs, because of fentanyl being put into everything. He says those are things that need to be more secured. Those are things that we need to look at more as.
It's like 300 people die. I mean, it's like an airplane crash every single day. The loss of life is staggering. It's just a poison. Erik, is China, is this an evil plan of China? Bringing, giving the ingredients for fentanyl, so that, and then helping to the cartel, so they make it, put it in everything, so that we poison our society. I mean, sounds like the opium wars from centuries ago, in a way.
He says bingo, and it's back, but he says China is not the finger to be pointed at. They are a catalyst in this, but they are not the finger that needs the blame. But he says they have something to do with it. They act as a catalyst. Yes.
Are they doing it with it in mind? Hey, let's poison the population of the U.S.?
No.
Okay. That never reach, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah. But in mind of gaining money for a recipe. That was the intention. The motive behind it was finances, not death, not population. And so he says a catalyst.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Anything else about this momentous astrological situation?
No, that about covers the basics of it. And
okay, any last practical advice for people in this, besides just I guess maybe the main thing is reflect on your life and your values and all that, and
yes,
situation. Yeah.
And don't worry, don't stress, because if you're worried and if you're really stressed, your thoughts are only going to amplify that.
Yeah.
Try and find a place to relax. Like think of, am I choosing to be stressed, or can I try and relax? Can I go for a walk? Can I go for a drive? Can I sit outside? It doesn't have to be something that is drastic, but clear your mind, ground yourself. if you can't go stand on grass or stand in water, visualize yourself being grounded to the earth. Visualize you in water. Take a long shower and just say, I am grounded, because those are things that are going to really help you with focusing your energy on what you can change. So don't focus on the worry. Don't focus on the anxiety of what you have to change or why you're in the situation you're in. Focus on how you can positively change it. And things are going to start to move in a positive, healthy direction for you.
That's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Many good opportunities out there. All right. I want to give a shout out to everybody in Florida who's been under this horrible devastation of Ian. So please, everybody send love, and if you can help in any way, please do. Prayers to them, and also happy birthday, Lucas. Today is Lucas's birthday.
Happy birthday, Lucas. How old is he?
Just turned 30.
Ooh, we're very close in age.
How about that? All right. How can we get in touch with you, my dear Raylene, and tell us more about everything you have to offer? And it's a lot.
You can go to my website at Angelic. Oh gosh, this is horrible. I always forget my own website.
Oh, it's so long.
It really is. It's Angelic Astrological Guidance 911.com.
And
we'll put a link in there in case that's wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is correct.
All right. I bet it is. All right. Awesome. And what else? I know you do astrological readings. You do mediumship work, channeling.
I do astrological readings, intuitive readings, and energy healing. And so there's a wide variety of things that you can take a look at and see what works best for you. You can subscribe.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
You can subscribe to my website, and I send out coupons every couple of months, sometimes monthly. And so you'll get a discount code for up to 50% off. So subscribe to the channel and to the website.
That's awesome.
Erik says happy birthday to Lucas, and he loves him. He's handing him a box that's wrapped up like a gift, but he's opening up the box, and it's like a very inappropriate gift.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
So take that to Lucas.
Do you know what it is? You can tell me after this. You probably don't even want to do that.
It's underwear.
Underwear. Okay.
Women's underwear, though, for his partner.
Oh my God.
Partner to be.
You are so silly. Oh God. Okay. On that note, I love everybody. I love you, Raylene. Love you, Erik. And y'all subscribe not only to her, but also this channel, and hit the notification button, bell, and share. All right.
Yes.
Love you.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Love you. Bye.